Welcome to Vibes of India. I'm Janvi Suneya, and today I'm sitting with one of our senior members, Deepal Trivedi ji, and with senior advocate with Gujarat High Court, Devin Parekh, who is a petitioner's lawyer for the very serious case on registered with Gujarat High Court on the challenging the prohibition of consumption, production, and sale of liquor in the state of Gujarat. So, first of all, let us understand what is the law all about. So,
I think, Janvi, the petition is about the maintainability of the Prohibition Act, as far as I understand. And uh, Gujarat has been a witness to the prohibition law, I think, way back in 1878, when the India was not even an independent state under the Bombay Abkari Act. In 1878, prohibition was first introduced in Gujarat, and then it fell under the Bombay province. And in 1939, that is again before independence, an act was brought in place to effectively implement the prohibition policy. Gujarat and Maharashtra became different states, but in 1960, when they became different states, Gujarat and, interestingly, Bombay also chose to implement and continue with the implementation of the Prohibition Act, which in 1963, if I believe, it was removed from Bombay, Maharashtra state, on the grounds that instead of curbing crime, actually it was giving rise to more corruption. But since Gujarat has been the birthplace of Mahatma Gandhi, who was wedded to the prohibition policy, we continue to implement the act. This is what I know about the prohibition policy.
and as you rightly said that the Prohibition Act was introduced over 70 years ago. But sir, what do you have to say about its relevance in today's times?
Uh, could I just add something to what she just said? Frankly speaking, Akhbari, just for your knowledge, it was basically considered to be more concerned with the tax. And
Yes.
it was more concerning a tax than the question of prohibition. I tell you the reason. Uh, Prohibition was considered to be res commercium in the sense that you cannot have a right for commercial dealing in liquor. So the right vested only in the government. The fact that the government permitted you to deal with or drink or do whatever, you had to pay a price for it. So the concept of Akbari was a little different. Though the Prohibition Act takes from the Akbari, the concept was a little different. But you're right primarily in what you are saying. But the petitions in these petitions also are not asking for removal of the prohibition policy. We are not saying that lock, stock, and barrel just throw the act out. We are asking the government to draw a fine line. The fine line to be drawn is you take drinking as an issue, you divide it in its various aspects. Tell me one thing. Today in the world, forget India because you're not allowed to advertise. How many people or how many drinks or how many liquors are advertised in the world based on their alcohol content? Alcohol content is not the point. Intoxication is not the point. And alcohol is not sold because it intoxicates. And alcohol is sold basically for its taste. It's sold for its refined taste. At some point of time, maybe because of lack of awareness or the way the Indian masses were, from the perspective of, if you choose to call it enlightenment or knowledge base, or even from the perspective of the kind of liquor that was available, I would not say that there was a complete no justification for putting some kind of a rider in what you could freely do. But I dare say that after all these years, with the kind of knowledge that people have, with the kind of entitlement that the masses have, a constitutional restriction of this nature, if you want to consider the constitution to be a live document, deserves a relook. We had only the 1951 judgment of the Mumbai High Court, larger Bombay High Court, and then the Supreme Court, saying that this is constitutionally valid. Much water has flown, if not in our Sabarmati, at least in our Narmada. But things require a new look. So the petitioners are basically saying that you balance the liberty that a person can have, that a choice that a person can have on its own. And if there is an ill impact that it can have on the human being or the society, then you deal with those issues. But for that, you can't throw the baby out with the bathwater. That is basically what we are saying.
But I have a question
Of course,
to this. That won't this, I was just going through a few parts of the petition
Yes.
where it says that an individual has a right to consume whatever they want within their four walls,
Yes.
right? That the government cannot interfere in what to wear, what to eat, or what to drink,
Yes.
right? But considering the socio-dynamics of the society here, don't you think it's a very elitist statement to make that if I can afford it, I should have it, otherwise I don't have it?
Okay. In the first place, I think what you said is the general understanding of the petition, but it's frankly doesn't hit the spirit of the petition. Look, it's not as if I am saying or the petitioners are saying that I can do anything within the four walls. If I could do anything within the four walls, I can consume drugs within my four walls. I can commit any crime within my four walls. So this four walls concept is not really very well understood in the concept of this prohibition, and let that be very well understood.
But whatever is legal.
No, I'll come to that. I'll come exactly to that. You're making a point. I will answer your query. So the point is, let me put it this way. If therefore, as one of the facet of drinking, if one of the facet of drinking is accepted to be the fact that I enjoy a drink, all right, and you put it in the four corners of not privacy, you put it in the four corners of liberty and see where you go. So the main argument to be made in the petition, though by and large right now the word privacy is used a lot, but conceptually the word which really goes with the bane, the rationale of this petition has got more to do with privacy, liberty rather than privacy. So if I can, and if I can drink in moderation, and if I can drink in a manner which does not impact society at large, and I drink in a manner which does not create a hue and cry for society by and large, if I drink in a manner which does not create any social repercussions for any other human being, why would you go to the extent of saying that I cannot be even allowed to have a glass of beer or a glass of drink a day? Now, there is something in the Constitution which has developed over a period of time called the principle of proportionality. That is another constitutional concept that you need to understand in order to really understand and digest what is there in the petition. The Constitution permits you to put reasonable restrictions on exercise of your rights. There's no question. In public interest, in the interest of society, in the interest of your own interest, why just society? But those interests have to be balanced. And there has to be some proportionality in what the Constitution says the restriction has to be. So, to the extent that there is a justification for putting a restriction on prohibition, by all means put it. But does it mean, as I was telling you earlier, to is truly in nowadays is truly prohibition an answer, a complete prohibition an answer? That's the point. So do you want to regulate this or do you want to prohibit it? That's where the catch is. Yes, please.
Then where do we draw the line between liberty of people?
There are humongous issues like this in law. The law has dealt with this grey line. There are very famous sayings of very famous English judges which say, if you ask me to draw a line, it's very difficult for me to draw a line. But if you ask me to judge as to which side of the line this fact would fall, that's not a very difficult thing to me to do. So if you really ask me to draw the line, then that's difficult. But we believe that from an obvious perspective, to allow a person to drink in restrictions surely falls on that side of this line, where there should not be in this day and age that much of a hue and cry. Again, I don't want to say that I didn't deal with your elitist argument. This argument is not sought to be made for people who can afford. You will very much appreciate that so far the rest of the part of the country is concerned. Why don't you look at the less part of the country? If you look at the other parts of the country, can you for sure say that all states where there is no prohibition, that there is such a lot of problem as compared to Gujarat that you must prohibit it? Are you trying to say therefore that people who are in other parts of the country, non-elitists, and therefore they are not in a position to enjoy drinks? So this is not a rich versus poor argument. Neither is that this concerned anything with.
So you would put this like it's a very profound observation
Yes,
that
please.
you made.
Yes.
So would you put this as some sort of injustice to Gujarat? Are we taken as less mature to hold our drinks or to continue a policy or a decision taken years ago,
Yes.
underestimating our,
Right.
reasoning or maturity?
All right.
Or our sobriety?
No, let me put it this way. I went to the first part of awakening or awareness from the perspective of generally justifying it. I am not trying to justify it even in the petition from that perspective. So there is no question of something like that, that Gujarat is taken to be non-aware. That's not the thrust of the petition, not at all. All that we are saying is that with the passage of time, surely people are more enlightened. And constitution being a live organ, would you not like to have a relook at this and say that is really prohibition an answer? Look at the kind of even liquor which was available at some point of time. Look at the kind of medicines that people dealt with in the context of intoxication. Look at the kind of fatalities which were there at that point of time. And look at the scenario today. Is liquor drinking in a sober state or in proportionality such a huge issue right now, given this entire structure of society that you have, that you must prohibit it? What about smoking?
It's even worse.
It's even worse, right? It's even worse. So the point is, from a perspective, and you rightly are aware, every person is aware of the problem of secondary smoke. That secondary smoke is more harmful than the fact that you yourself smoke. Amen. And frankly speaking, if I may say so, even the single most puff that goes into your body is harmful. That can't be said about liquor. I'm not trying to say that it's healthy, but I would certainly like to say that you can't put it at the same pedestal as smoke.
And in fact, if it would have been so bad, why would there be permits given actually on health basis, right?
Very, very correct. That's a contradiction in terms.
Yeah.
That's a very valid point. That's a point that we've also raised in the petition.
Okay.
That what are you trying to prove by these health permits? What do you mean by health permits? If you say that a person gets intoxicated, are you trying to say that a person who has a health problem and is allowed to drink cannot get intoxicated? Is that not a contradiction in terms? If a person is given it on health grounds, you think if he is not given on the health grounds, he is not going to survive? Does this make sense? There are so many other issues like this. Let me tell you one more thing. There are certain other provisions in the Act which say that if you're from out, you go out and you come back drunk, or you're coming back in an intoxicated stage.
Is it?
In such circumstances also you are committing a crime. I mean, not that this is a point which is raised in the petition, but can you believe that you have an international airport with a shop here in Ahmedabad where you can pick up booze, you can pick up liquor, but the minute you step out, you are saying,
Of the airport.
I mean, does it,
You're violating.
does
How
it, does
rational
it,
is
does
that?
it make sense? That the whole issue is, I mean, is something not all right about that kind of a setup?
Can you please enlighten us
about
about
the-
the existing rules, that if you have a permit
Yes,
and if she has a permit,
yes.
can she come
Again,
to your
a very,
house
very
and-
valid point. No, you can't do it. So this is another thing that
So
you're
what is
right.
the concept of social
Now,
drinking?
you are
then?
absolutely correct. Now, that's exactly one of the points that we are again raising in the petition, that I have at least raised in the petition. I am dealing with. Why do you want to have this? So, you allow a person to drink in the first place. So, you're granting her a permission to drink. But then you are saying that two persons cannot drink in a private place. Forget a public private place like a bar or a hotel room. But can I not therefore go to each other's house and enjoy a drink together? What's wrong with that? I mean, to what extent are you carrying? So what they are basically saying is that I will be allowing you to drink only and take out every pleasure that drinking can give you. I mean, I find that a little, when the rest of the world looks at it, or the rest of the country looks at it from a little different angle. And I would like to make this point, that a liberty for a person to enjoy a drink, yes, enjoy, I would like to use the word enjoy,
Joy.
to enjoy the taste of something refined, or to enjoy the process of having something within limits in a refined manner, is not something which is required to be taken away. I would like to ask also this question, that if we are talking of Gandhi, of course, all respect to the father of the nation, and we respect Mahatma Gandhi, there is no question about it. I, for one, never want that an image of the father of the nation should be belittled. But I have a little bit of a conceptual problem with trying to justify the policy of prohibition in his name.
True.
I do understand that the Mahatma was against him, against prohibition. But then the Mahatma died in 1948. And the prohibition policy is brought when Gujarat came into existence in 61. So what happened from 48 to 61? Where did the prohibition policy go?
True.
So was there no Mahatma in the country? Was his ideology absent for so many years from 48 to 61?
And yes, we are very proud as Gujaratis that Mahatma is a legacy from Gujarat.
Yeah.
But since we have so many young people associated with us, or people like us who come after spending a decade and a half abroad, it's very surprising to note, because science establishes that drinking in a solitary manner or not indulging in social drink is actually bad for health, number one. And number two, like someone, science proves that if you have a permit and you have a permit and you just drink alone, you tend to drink more.
That's
Right? Number one is that. And number two, I don't know if it's a part of the petition or not, but I'm very intrigued by the fact that when there are foreign delegations that come, now even to the famed Statue of Unity, or even, all these conclaves, international, the vibrant Gujarats, and they can drink openly, but there has to be a sort of a categorization that if I belong to Gujarat, I cannot enter your seat. So this is a very surprising and intriguing aspect for all of us.
You know what? The way you put it, it only highlights one thing. While I understand why this segregation is there, I won't call it discrimination from the legalistic perspective, but the fact that you find it so jarring, I agree with. The fact that you find it so jarring itself is the reason why you cannot have such a strict prohibition law. That's precisely the point. That you can't.
If someone
Yeah.
who comes from Bombay or Kolkata,
They're
they can
given
easily,
permission.
but
Drink.
is it a crime to take up
Be a Gujarati
citizenship in Gujarat or choose to be a part of this wonderful Gujarati culture and face these issues?
As you very rightly put it, that's something that, see, unfortunately, prohibition is a state subject. Now, let me tell you something else. I've gone through the constitutional debates on this. I've gone through them in details. The assembly details in the context of prohibition, when the Government of India Act, the 1935 Act, was a precursor to the Indian Constitution. And there was a big discussion in the context of prohibition. And a very famous Russian writer, I forget his name, was quoted in the debate to say that you should not have prohibition. There were a lot of people at that point of time saying that look what it is doing to the masses and the bad impact that it is having on the masses. Of course, in the context of 1935.
Right.
But there were a lot of people who also took it up and said, no, this is something which is hampering the dignity of or the liberty of a citizen. It should not be that there should be prohibition. And let me tell you frankly, there was no unanimity on this.
Okay.
There was no unanimity. Dr. Ambedkar and others had to intervene. And in the end, the view was taken that we are not imposing prohibition as a part of the constitution. Please understand.
It is a state
No, two things. You're right, two things. One, we are only putting it in the directive principles of state policy. So something as an indicator that as a welfare state, a state can follow to do this. And secondly, as you rightly put it, that it's a state subject, let the state do what it wants to do. Now, once it is the state subject, it's not possible for a citizen to argue that it is discriminatory if I am in Gujarat. So because it is a state subject, so that from the constitutional perspective to say that it's discriminatory as a citizen of India because I am in Gujarat state is not an argument which might sound very palatable from the constitutional perspective.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but I was just trying to tell you where the fine line is. But yes, nonetheless, being in Gujarat, we can certainly rely on the experience of the other part of the country to show the irrationality and unreasonableness of the restriction. That we can certainly do.
Plus, I believe that even America imposed prohibition for a couple of years, and there was then a federal report made on, I think it was called the Cato Plan in 20s or 30s, and they found out that actually prohibition led to increase in corruption, which again, if we take it in the Gujarati context, like it's the state losing out revenues but others making.
I'm glad that you've gone into this because that's an area which even I have explored.
Okay.
And they were called the wets and the dries.
Exactly.
Yeah. So there was this huge discussion in even the American system between the wets and the dries. And basically, not to correct you, but also to add something to what you are saying, one of the main reasons, why most part of the US went wet was the revenue angle. Yeah, that the major reason why most states of the US decided to do away with prohibition was the fact that they are losing out on a lot of revenue. So that, I would think that if you, even forgetting the revenue angle, let me put it this way. If having prohibition, even with that law, you still have a problem of people who are suffering and being drunk in this country, in this state. You still have a problem, as you rightly put it, of corruption. You still have issues that go with the fact which should not be there if you have the prohibition law. Then are you not burning your candle at both ends? That it's not serving its purpose, then you are also foregoing the revenue.
And I was just comparing the crime rate between Maharashtra and Gujarat.
That's not too much of a
Difference, right? And in fact, when it comes to crime against women with alcohol as an issue,
Even
there are so many cases in Gujarat,
Yeah, but-
and it is nearly at par, or maybe
Very true.
Maharashtra could
But
be lesser.
I would, let me put it this way. I'm glad in the kind of research that you've done. But we are not even going this far in the petition.
Okay.
We are just
what are the
want-
other
We are,
points that
we are,
you
we
would-
are basically saying, have a relook at it. You can't have a complete prohibition. I'm not saying that once you have your drinks, you can have dance bars. We are not even
drink,
remotely
yeah.
going that far. You can have all your laws to control all these bars, or you can have all laws which say that you make sure that modesty of women is not outraged and things like that. So we are not on the point that everything associated with bars or drink should be allowed in this state. That's a far cry from the petition.
So what are the other points that you highlight now?
Our basic points that we have highlighted is primarily that if I drink,
Liberty of-
even if I drink with someone, in the privacy, the privacy angle is only important because I am not creating a public nuisance. So my four corners argument is only relevant to make sure I'm not drinking. I mean, I'm not saying I can sit on the four roads and drink.
Drinking is not being a drunkard.
Yeah, exactly. That's very well put. Very well put. I, for one, would divide the concept of liquor. It's something that I'm going to argue, but I'm just going to place it before you. The concept of drinking, I want to divide in various aspects. Okay. Of course, one is the fact that a person can become an alcoholic. Second is the context of temporary intoxication and the impact that it can have on yourself, your family, people around you, and society. But the third aspect of having a liquor or a drink is the concept certainly of enjoyment or joy without harming your body or without harming someone else. Now I dare say that more often than not, and in the case of these petitioners, the petitioners are not filing a petition for the purpose of saying that I have a right to get drunk and create a brawl. That's not the purpose of the petitioner. The purpose of the petitioner is that, look, I would like to enjoy a drink now and then. What is wrong if you control the first two aspects to the extent that you can? You make sure that a person who is drunk, no matter how strongly you want, does not create a social impact.
Very true. And maybe there could be stringent laws, even more stringent than what really exist about drunken driving. Because I'm very amazed when I go around in Gujarat and says don't drink and drive when there is already a prohibition policy in place, which means that such cases are happening. So maybe such laws could be made more stringent, and after all, it's democracy is all about liberty.
As you rightly put it, there is still a lot of corruption. As you rightly put it,
I was looking at the exchequer, the sales tax revenues that we lose out.
absolutely.
And I believe that I cannot say it without basis, but this has been placed in the Gujarat Assembly that there is a lot of corruption even among the police and the uniformed services because of bootlegging, because there is no prohibition, relaxation in the state, and the steady and consistent loss of revenue.
Well, let me not go to the corruption angle unless I know something. I'm not going to pass a comment on that. But the point nonetheless is that the fact remains that, as you rightly put it, there are the ill effects of prohibition are not being controlled by this law. So the point is that, is prohibition really serving its purpose? And if not, why should a citizen of this state need to pay a price for it? And why should the state pay a price for it from the perspective of revenue? So from the constitutional perspective, in the last 10 years, there are Supreme Court judgments. Justice Chandrachud, very good judgments that he has delivered. Justice Rohington's judgment, Sikri's judgment. On the perspective of liberty, it's not privacy that we are after, at least that's not what I am after.
liberty.
It's liberty. The right to choose. The right to, if I want to enjoy a drink, why can't I enjoy it? That liberty, if it has to be taken away from me, that can only, long and short, has to be taken away from me if there is a social purpose that is sought to be served. And if that has to be taken away from me, that must satisfy the rationality of the Constitution, can only be taken away satisfying the principle of proportionality. So to the extent that my drinking affects society or affects me, you certainly put whatever you want to do, but nothing beyond that.
But sir, the Prohibition Act is addressed time and again. Do you see any hopes this time of people's liberty?
Well, if we had no conviction in the petition, we would not go to the court of the law. And the point is that we do feel that something that is decided in 1951 can have little relevance. As a matter of fact, the state government tried that in the court. They said that it's covered by the 51 judgment, so the High Court should not look at it. And today itself, that has been, the High Court has rejected that prayer.
And they say that it
Yeah,
could
but
be.
I don't know because I don't have the judgment.
Okay.
So I can't pass any comment. But prima facie, it looks like that the judges appear to be of that view. Unless I see it, I can't say. But I think one can read this to say, I cannot 100% say it, but that what we are asking for right now is very different from what was asked for then. So that deserves a relook. All that I'm saying, you have a relook. In the context of development, in the context of enlightenment, in the context of medical spheres, in facilities, in the context of people by and large. Have a relook.
And the petitioners that you
Yes.
have been fighting for,
Yes.
like their contention, I'm sure you are voicing out their contention,
Yes.
but their contention also would be on similar grounds, right?
Yes, of
that
course.
they want prohibition to stay, but
That's right.
it just needs
Needs to
the
relook.
bit tweaking of the policy.
Rounded at the edges.
Right.
Exactly. The right way of putting is that we are not saying that you just throw out the principle of prohibition, but make sure that, suppose permission is to be granted, you be lenient with the granting of permissions. And if a person misbehaves after permission is granted, you take it away. There's no problem there. But at least allow him the liberty to get a proper permission. You control his drinking, that's fine. But allow him that leeway. Why would you not do it? When the rest of the country is doing it out without control,
Yeah, then
can I not even do it with control?
control.
True.
That's the whole point. That's the whole point.
All we can do is wait and see what
Let
comes
us see.
next.
Let us see.
Yeah.
It's for the learned judges to take a call. It's our job only to point out the constitutional provisions to the best of our ability and rightly.
True.
So let us see.
Let us see. Yeah. So thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much, ma'am. Yeah, and keep watching Vibes of India for more such interviews. Thank you so much.